Welcome to the Bleed Red Blacks podcast with your hosts Mike, Colin, Shinin, and Santino. Produced by Mark and Johnny Z. Bleed Red Blacks starts now.
Welcome to Bleed Red Blacks, episode 2. I'm Colin, and thank you all for listening. I'm joined here by my main man, season ticket holder Mike. Looking amazing today, sir.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
And I'm joined here with Santino, as we all know as the Raging Renegade, I guess we'll say.
Yeah, sure. It works for me, yeah.
It's a new Twitter handle. Perfect.
Yeah, just get enough momentum on one to switch to a new one and just
exactly.
start all over again, right?
Why keep things easy? Right?
Learn from all those mistakes.
Yeah.
And Janine, what's up?
Hey, man.
We're not going to get into this whole stage left, stage right.
No, that
my
was
left,
confusing
my
last time.
clockwise, counterclockwise, whatever. I mean, the illusion's here. You know there's 4 people here. Plus Tootin' Newton, the one and only. Hey, guys, producers, Mark and Johnny. Yeah, obviously. Thank you.
That recorder, it's amazing.
The voice of reason. We were thinking it'd be awesome if we'd get Johnny to play O Canada without any practice one show. So maybe, you know.
Not today, though. Maybe.
Yeah, no, not today. Not today. Sorry, Johnny. We got to give you at least a week to practice. It's okay. You'll sound like that dude at the Baltimore Stallions game. The best version of O Canada / worst of all time. Mark, if you can find a clip of that and just blast like a few lines up, it's amazing. Dude was pretty good looking, but I think that's all he had going for him because he obviously had never heard international. So I want to hear some winning songs this week. Woo! And I request both winning songs, our old one. Because like Sheen is like kind of like not as offside as it used to be, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll roll the Motorhead song as well, which voted in by our fans last year. So what is a Motorhead? We're not sure, but apparently we play.
Let's not play that too loud. You know how the Ottawa Sunriders get. You want it too loud down here. You can't even interview.
I'm supposed to have a podcast if it's too loud.
Like celebrating after a win? Like, come on guys, gear down. Remember the first year?
There's going to be a season next year. Come on.
Yeah. So I love those songs. Those are awesome, and they just make. I want to hear them all year round. I'd like to thank Edmonton for participating last game. You did a great job. It really inspired us. I know Mike and I. We really looked to Hal and Joanne growing up, and we're just going to give you a little Hal and Joanne motivation here, moving right into our around the CFL. So let's just leave it there.
I think we knocked most of the dust off, so we're ready to go.
We knocked the dust off last week. We'll call that our pilot. We had to expedite it for many reasons, mostly because we're just leaving to party the next day.
Yeah. I told everybody I was working really hard on getting it on iTunes. I was just trying to stay upright most of the weekend.
And it did eventually get on iTunes.
We figured it out magically at 2:30 in the morning
and
in the RV, so good for us.
And thank you so much to those Twitter followers that pointed out the spelling errors. Like,
yeah,
you got to fill your day with something, right?
There's a typo there, and it's going to stay.
Caps.
Yeah,
it's going to
that's
stay
right.
there.
At least we know the people at OSEG are grinding, right?
Yeah.
The All Balks, whatever, man. It's our own show. We call it what we want.
It's because of we were told, by the team after the licensing agreement ran out that it's time. You didn't sell enough cups last year. The coffee cup selling was way down.
All right, so Bleed Red Blacks. Let's get into the game around the CFL.
All right, word from our sponsor.
Don't just think about it.
Do it.
Do it with a friend you both can bend. Do it for your muscles, it'll make them hustle. Do it for your feet, it's kind of neat. Do it with some action, participation. Don't just think about it.
Do it.
Participation. Get with the action.
Do it.
Welcome to Around the CFL on the Bleed Red Blacks podcast.
Around the CFL, why should we care? We're going to start off where everyone wants to, talking about our amazing overtime victory in Edmonton last week.
Ottawa Red Blacks 45, Edmonton Eskimos 37. That's for you, that folks that were under a rock all weekend or in an RV. Raise your hands in the air and wave your substitution gates like you just don't care.
Oh
yeah.
I love CFL humor.
And just for you guys, participation ribbons all around. All right.
I got a box of them from public school. It'd be amazing.
I got a lot of bronze, man. Participation. That's what I'm trying to do.
Is that your statue gonna be when we remember you?
Yes, just a statue of ribbons. Wow, it feels like I'm back in the RV here. Chris Williams, 176 yards, 8 receptions. Man, he was on the phone all night with Trevor, Mike, Harris, just connecting, as they say in the business. Connections were being made. I love it. So Mike Harris equals no hospital beds. You got to get that joke out of the way. Trevor Harris equals no Henry. Oh, no worries. Straight up. I love it. How do you know when you have a controversy in the QB slot? How do you know that?
I don't
know,
I'm
Mike.
not sure.
Why
Mike,
don't you tell
how
us,
do
Mike?
you know?
Don't worry, a Twitter poll will fucking tell you. You know what I mean? How many Twitter polls did we see? Who should start? When should they start?
I did a Twitter poll. Do you like Twitter polls? Yeah.
No.
Lots of participation in that one, though.
Fans of this, and I'm going to tell you something. Fans of this team and certain coaches on our nation, they got to give some credit to the front office. Whether you're Coach Ben or us down here in the basement, the front office, they went out, they got exactly what this team needed: an ace starter to sit in the wings at the right age with the right portfolio, an absolute rocket for an arm, positive attitude, and work ethic. That's what Trevor Harris gives you, what we needed, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when you play the Game of Thrones, the game of backup QBs in the CFL,
No spoilers.
you win or you lose. There is no middle ground. So, we did what we had to do by getting Trevor Harris. It was a brilliant move. Good on us. Abdullah Kene and the rest of that secondary, they kept everyone out of the end zone, -1 passing TD. What a great team effort on their part. We did see some raw talent from Darryl Walker, who burned us a few times. So, why should I care about that? I'll tell you, talent like his continue to raise eyebrows across North America with bloggers and everybody on the internet saying, look, he should step up and head into the NFL. He's a good player, and I look forward to watching him the rest of the season for sure. Our special teams was awesome, and we should care about that, because at the end of the day, our team went on the road with a gutsy performance. Milo money man. I'm telling you, we shed that dad bod reference. Never again. He's not dad bod to me anymore. No. Well, maybe once, but how do you know when you have how do you know when you have a special teams controversy? Don't worry, the Red Blacks will sign a national kicker in Zachary Medeiros and sit him on the practice roster. So we'll see what happens. Pfeiffer's still on the injury list. Milo punts like a boss, 5 punts, 38 average with a long of 61. I'm telling you straight up, just let him keep punting.
Do you think he can maintain the field goal and the punting numbers doing double duty for 18 games? That's my only question. I hope so.
Well, I want them to wait it out, right? And let's have that controversy when it gets there. And speaking of coffin kicks, dear Jason Moss, how does it feel to be 0-1?
Peace.
All right. So I can't beat that, but we're going to try with Montreal Alouettes visiting the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And I know Alouettes fans. Last week I was maybe a little bit cocky when I said we didn't really need to care about the Alouettes. They've struggled mightily against Winnipeg for most of the last couple of seasons, even when Drew Willie wasn't healthy. But they definitely wanted to make a statement in week 1, and they did. Deb, it wasn't your style of barn burner or anything, but the Owls did keep the pressure on the Bombers all game long, and they did come out on top 22-14. So what did they do right? Well, that offense. I definitely underestimated their offense. I think maybe I'm not the only one who underestimated their offense. And maybe part of that is because I'm a Red Blacks fan, and Red Blacks fans just like to kind of dismiss Kevin Glenn because of the little hissy fit he threw when Henry Burris was brought on board. If I have to compete for the starter job, I want to trade. Wah, wah, wah. What do you got to say, Colin?
All I see is what we got back whenever I see him. So thank you for the wah wah.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks
Good
for
point.
Pruno.
Good point. But I gotta say, he definitely doesn't want to be dismissed. And now that he's got Deron Carter back, and he still has S.J. Green on his roster, he is raring to show the CFL that he deserves this starting position for the rest of the season. So he definitely came out with a chip on his shoulder last week, and he will come out with a chip on his shoulder next week. But we'll talk about that with the coaches later on. Defensively, Montreal has always been a little bit on the scary side, and they really tore apart Winnipeg's O-line, but fuck, I could tear apart Winnipeg's O-line. Those guys have not improved. It's sad. It is sad. It is sad. Still, Red Blacks fans, we do need to care about that Montreal defense, especially because we've lost some of our O-line vets. So gearing up against Montreal in a short week next week, we do need to watch that defense, and we do need to study that film, boys, and see what you can find out from that first game. And why should we care about Winnipeg? Well, honestly, the only reason I can think of right now is that I was born there. With that Week 1 performance, it's pretty hard to find anything to worry about. I really, really thought Drew Willie would come out a little bit better this season. Andrew Harris, he only got 13 carries for only 18 yards, but he is a hell of a running back, and so I do think as Red Blacks fans we are going to want to watch that when we do come up against the Bombers. Our D-line also lost some of its veteran presence, so we're going to want to make sure that we can contain a powerful running back like Andrew Harris. And Chris Randall was the only bright spot really for the Bombers last week. He's a pretty deadly member in that secondary, but hey, we've got a pretty deadly offense, so we'll see what Randall can do against all of our 1,000-yard receivers. So, boys, what do you think about Montreal and Winnipeg? Any thoughts on that game?
I think it's pretty awesome that we're going to have a couple busloads of fans there.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have a pretty good presence, and I think that it's going to be a great experience for everyone. I mean, since we don't play our first game here till week 3, it's cool that week 2 is just down the road.
And I think the win needs to be kept in context. A lot of people are like, oh, the Owls can compete in the East. Well, I don't think the Bombers are going to be very good at all this year, so that win kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Moving right along.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking about Toronto and Hamilton. Hamilton won 42-20. And yeah, the CFL season kicked off in style with a good old Boatman versus Kitty Cat matchup. Before I really get into why our nation should care about this game, did you know the Argos got a new home? Oh, you did? Of course, because it was only mentioned like 50 million times.
What's BMO stand for, by the way?
Yeah, let's be serious, though.
I think it's BMO.
The only place I don't have my money, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
But let's be serious. Having a stable Argos franchise is great for the health of the CFL, but I am looking forward to an Our Nation invasion of BMO Field. As for the game itself, these are obviously two of Ottawa's rivals, and likely the teams will be competing with for the East Division crown. Don't get caught up on Montreal's win. Like, they nearly pissed away a gimme game and barely edged a Bomber team that's destined for another season in the CFL's basement. Sorry, Janin. So let's move on to the players. Ricky Ray didn't play much this preseason, and it showed. He wasn't very sharp early on, and it took him a while to get going. But when he did, the Argos offense totally came to life. As for the Ticats, Mr. Masoli looked awesome, throwing for 318 yards and 3 TDs. No Caleros, no problem maybe for the Ticats. Or maybe Toronto's secondary was like a bathroom stall in a Gatineau nightclub full of holes.
Sounds like a nice little Friday.
That's glorious.
That's glorious. Glorious.
On the defensive side of the ball, Simone Lawrence was a beast, racking up 7 tackles, 2 sacks, an interception return for a touchdown and a fumble recovery. The Red Blacks don't play either of these teams for a few weeks, but if this game is any indication, we're going to need a strong effort to keep them in their rightful place, which is behind us, of course.
I don't know about you guys, but after all the hype with the new defensive coordinator in Toronto, I was a pretty poor showing by the Toronto defense. So it was, they're not looking as scary as everybody thought they would.
I just wonder if this whole BMO, right, is the name of the field?
BMO.
Yeah, BMO. I just wondering if BMO field, the whole lead up to it was just a little bit distracting. I think it was probably
quite possible.
They're not used to a routine at that stadium, and I think that they'll settle down. They'll be good to go. So
That means the 2 Ontario CFL podcasts are 2-0, right? Is that correct? Did anybody check in on Josh Smith? He's doing all right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Did he watch the Ticats game, or was he just watching the Red
Blacks
Blacks game?
So.
I think he watched the Red Blacks game too, right?
Judging by his Twitter feed, yeah, I think so. And the article he wrote on the website there too. So, but whatever. He's a Red Blacks fan apparently.
Yeah.
So we move out west where the BC Lions beat the Stamps 20-18 at home. at BC Place. Once again, attendance woes for the Lions, drawing just over 21,000 fans. And I mean, it's a big concern for that team and a big concern for that football community, especially considering kids under 12 got in for $5. So I'm just wondering, do you guys think it's time to move the team from its downtown location?
Yeah.
I mean, from what I hear, the logistics of getting there are tough. Like even for a 7:00 game. So
move it to Halifax.
Coast to coast,
The
baby.
BC Schooners.
Yeah, the Schooners would take it. They're ready. So definitely two teams going in different directions. The Stamps came in as the Grey Cup favorites, and according to odds makers, they have the 2017 MOP on their team versus a Lions team looking to return kind of from mediocrity and on the shoulders of one of the CFL's up-and-coming quarterbacks. Both played okay despite lack of production. They managed to keep clean slates. Not sure about fumbles. Thanks, CFL. How are the stats getting worse? Like, honestly, 2 interns at $15 an hour. Boom. Calgary special teams were huge, blocking 3 punts in the first half, while both teams' defenses were the story early on. Too bad Rene Paredes forgot how to kick. Not the first time. You guys want your face on the side of a bus in Vancouver? You know how to do that? It's easy. Just ask Adam Bighill. 10 tackles and 1 QB sack. It's all it takes. So the Stamps need to figure out how to create offense without John Cornish. Messam was only 7 carries for 16 yards. Their running game looks weak and very strange for an organization that's made its money running the ball over like even the last 5 seasons. So why should I care? Well, Chris Rainey, the Red Blacks killer, was a story of the game. 4 returns, 108 yards, and along a 72. He scored the go-ahead touchdown in the fourth quarter, and he was a huge turning point in a game dominated by defense and special teams. He added a 1-yard rush earlier in the game, and he single-handedly showed Coach Yano the door last year, and this kid needs to be kept in check when we face this team in Week 10. Week 10. Why else should I care? Former running back Jeremiah Johnson made his Lions debut. Now, this game was dominated by Calgary defense, and we have a lot of love for Double J here in the capital. But all Lions fans will surely notice that he is a downgrade from the Canadian 1,000-yard rusher that he's replacing. Let's hope Double J can stay healthy, and I sure wish he was in our lineup. Lastly, why should I care? Roy Finch. Ever heard of him? Yeah, that Roy Finch. Not only did he show up for a few punt returns for the Stamps, but he's finally made it on the CFL website. Yeah, Roy Finch, you exist. What a proud moment.
That's like getting a Twitter blue check.
I mean, it's barbecue time at the Finch family residence. Let's be honest.
That's awesome.
Okay.
That was a great around the old CFL, guys. Amazing. There was not a lot of holes in that one.
Oh, there you go.
Last one out, we'll word from our sponsor.
The following is a public service announcement from the Glebe Association of Grumbling and Groaning, keeping the glebe quiet since 1837. And now to Graham Barrington Pemberwell.
Remember, each year to invite your friends down to our neighborhood for what we call the Great Glebe Garage Sale, where our gentrified friends throw away old lamps, tiles, board games, empty and used ashtrays. We sell them on our postage stamp front yards. So come on down and be part of our festivity and see what it's like to have so much stuff we just sell it to you serfs. And of course, remember, no parking.
Welcome to the Coach's Rant on the BleedRedBlacks podcast.
Game preview brought to you by the coaches. So I'm going to start off as the offensive coach. I'd like to start off by thanking the Eskimos for participating in last week's game. Don't forget, guys, like computer stores in the 90s, ribbons can be reused once deemed useless. We may bend, but we will never break. And the entire country, well, I mean those that have TSN, now know what we're made of. Congrats, you guys, for showing the defending Grey Cup champs and our former OC what the best offense in the league looks like while playing our backup quarterback. Now, whether it's Mateus, our 2015 first-round pick, or Lazon Seguin, our 2016 first-round pick, shuffling around on the O-line, we need to continue to protect our quarterback. Henry is now banged up with his lumber toe pinky, and we must keep Trevor in one piece. The Fab Four, you know, what else is there to say to you guys? You continue to rip it up. Seeing the obvious instant chemistry between you guys and Trevor last week was amazing. You know what they say, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. That's a lot of perfects. Trevor Harris, starting off the Eskimos with a 71-yard TD pass is exactly what we need. Confidence early and taking chances against an Als defense that we know we can outrun. Looking at you, old man Deuce. Hit them early and often. 15 touches. Fossey Corsi, 1-0. Travon touched the ball 16 times last week, and we need more of the same. Hold on to that ball, Travon, and start running harder, or Keenan will take your place faster than Mo Price retired. Love the running we saw to Keenan last week, breaking tackles and playing good, hard-nosed Canadian football. And let's not forget, he has the passport. That's very desirable. We had our highest points total ever last week, so let's go into McGill Stadium and teach our friends from the East who really runs this division. Let's work hard, take the wind out of the hometown fans early, and run up the score like a tab at Club Super Sex after graduation.
Nice. Anybody want to add to that? Great offense that we could put together. I got one. That jet formation where they had Jamie Smith in there running some short routes. Amazing.
I also thought it was kind of interesting how we had a lot of screen passes called, because that wasn't really something we had last year in our offense. So I think that's maybe something Elizondo's kind of brought to the table. And it worked out pretty well. Like early in the game, those got stuffed for not big gains. But then you had that play in overtime where Brad Sinopoli was just wide open in the end zone. So it'll be interesting to see if we continue to do that.
Yeah, and I got just to go back to the running back situation. I know there's a lot of people that have been saying Trayvon didn't get a whole lot of yards, but I'll tell you this: what I like about that kid is he goes right up the gut. He's not scared to go right up the gut. And how many times have we watched from the stands?
The water bug.
Exactly.
Tired of the water bug.
Yeah. I'm in the camp of give this kid a few more days. It was his first start, big game, Grey Cup champions, playing against them. I think he's going to do great, and I think he's pretty fearless.
Good. I like it. Awesome. So I'm going to roll right into some defensive talk right here as I break down the defense side. Basically, we talked a little bit about Kevin Glenn earlier, so be ready for the pass around because he throws it around the horn. I can't remember ever seeing a guy throw it to so many receivers with such accuracy last week. So our secondary basically has to deal with the fact that Kevin will toss to up to 6 receivers, and last game he tossed to 6 receivers, and 3 of those to 6 receivers that all had over 3 catches that game. So that's really mixing it up. He can spread the field, and he showed last week against Winnipeg. So they're watching, watch that game film, take a look at where these players are making their cuts. SJ Green basically needs to get lit up because he was out there 14.5 yards per catch last week, and we got to stop him from getting 7 to 14 points. I mean, we kept receivers out of that end zone last week. We need to do the same here. How bruised up was Glenn from his trip to the Peg? Not 1 sack. I mean, that's pretty sad.
Oh, Winnipeg.
I know, right? So this is a team that, this week is one where we really got to get on them.
Sorry, just how long till Lapo's head coach in Winnipeg?
You know what? I give it maybe 3 or 4 more games if O'Shea doesn't turn it around.
We had 2 sacks last week, right? And one was the safety. And we need to improve on that this week and show a little bit of pressure because you can't have Glenn finding that kind of rhythm he had. It would be really nice if we could roll out and start that climb to the top on the interception side of the stats because we didn't have any interceptions last week. Although the secondary played pretty good, it'd be good to try and get in there and disrupt that passing game. The Montreal Fossey Corsi saw the ball being carried 20 times last week in their game.
That's a good one.
And that's
adding some juice to my number.
It is, and it's a good indication that Montreal can run the ball. So again, we have to be able to stuff that run and take a look at what's happening on that end of the ball too. So we really got to get that defensive line ready for the run. Montreal basically under Anthony Calvillo now have climbed the power rankings, and they looked way too cozy last week. Like I didn't like the fact that they're kind of climbing this power ranking, and they didn't have like an outstanding game.
I'm pretty sure I saw Calvillo on Justin Dunk's quarterback ratings today.
Classic. This is a team that has to break that comfort zone with mixed safety blitzes. And that's about all I got. It's a fun team to watch on defense still, so I'm looking forward to Montreal.
I think that's going to be a great game for those guys heading down tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. We got the podcat in here tonight. I don't know if you can hear the podcat, but I guess 4 hosts isn't enough.
She's a special teams fan, I guess.
Apparently, it's a smart cat. This is the word on the street.
All right, let's roll into special teams over here. So special teams, Chris Milo, and more Chris Milo. That dude is carrying special teams on his back. I counted 3 coffin corner punts out of about 4 attempts in game 1. I counted 4 for 4 on field goals with the long of 55 to tie the game and make this one hell of an exciting week 1. The game of the week. We need to keep that guy out there on the field. Hell, maybe he can even throw some blocks. Mike?
Yeah, Brock Jensen. I know you're going to brag. I came early.
Yeah.
I came early with this one. I had my hand up early.
Oh, sorry. I didn't quite get
it's
there.
like
You want me
missing-
to get there first and then when you get there?
It's like that
missing
one
a-
teacher is like, I don't care about.
So
this
here's
guy."
the one play that went wrong for Chris Milo was his block punt, but that wasn't his fault. That was Brock Jensen missed his block. Now I get why you put a QB out there on special teams because you might want the other team thinking you got a trick play or something coming on. But Jensen missed his block, and that's the only bad thing I can say about Milo. But it wasn't his fault. Mike, what were you gonna say? Nothing. You got nothing.
Block Jensen.
Block Jensen. I blocked him on Twitter already, but
So now I lost my place about we're talking about Brock Jensen. I can't figure out what I want to say. Okay, let's roll back into despite that little mistake from Brock, we have seen much worse from our special teams. That's for sure. The longest punt return they gave up all night was 5 yards.
Wow.
They gave up 30 on a kick return, but hell, that's better than a whole field. So I think head coach Santino's "just don't suck" is probably starting to resonate with the special teams. So that's good. They got to keep that up. We are still waiting for Jammy to break out with a nice long return, something a little more than the 16 that we got out of him this week. I think he could do it on McGill campus this weekend. Or tomorrow actually. So let's hope that Jammy can break one out. So next week against the Owls, Milo needs to change not a thing. I know we've brought in Medeiros. Rumor has it he's been hammering out the punts in practice, but I tend to agree with Mike. Let's leave Milo out there a little bit longer. And let him roll with this because he's doing such a bang-up job. Let's give Jammy some more room so he can break out with that massive return. And God, I'd love to see the look on Glenn's face if we got a punt return for a touchdown. So let's go, boys.
Nice. I agree with everything.
At the rate that Milo's playing, like they might as well bring him in to block. Like
He'll block his own punts.
yeah, he'll just keep one forearm out. Get out of here.
Yeah, that's right.
You seen me kick lately? The guy's on fire. It's unbelievable.
It was an incredible performance. I mean, the 55-yarder was bloody impressive, but nobody's going to remember those coffin corners. Mm-hmm. They were clockwork. It was incredible.
Here at Blacks, we are fond of the coffin corner. I mean,
We love the coffin corner.
That's why we're sponsored by McGill Playfair and I don't know. Anyways, not this week.
The Goth Podcast, brought to you by Guyliner and I don't know.
So we got head coach, a coach.
Head coach here. Well, guys, there's an old saying that our eyes are in front of our heads because it's more important to look ahead than look back. But screw that. It's no Grey Cup ring, but it felt unreal beating those Edmonton bastards, even if we only did it by the length of Jason Moss's ear. Anyhow, moving on to Montreal, the city of swinging Poutine. Or is it swinging and Poutine? Someone get an intern to look it up and get back to me.
Johnny?
Maybe that guy the son laid off that we hired. What's he do anyways? So, last week we started off on the right foot. But what happens if we keep going with the right foot? We'll fall over, that's what. You walk by moving each foot, one at a time. So let's swing the left this week. If we're lucky, Montreal won't even see it coming. Alessandro, you earned a pat on the back. Maybe the only compensation we need for losing Moss is a Maryland grad with a law degree from Washington College. For this week, keep in mind that the Owls got a hell of a defensive line. Don't let Bowman get going. Double team him or let him dance with Sir V all game long. Also, remember they got a bear with dreadlocks in the middle of their defense. I've never heard of a dreadlock bear before, but maybe he's like a grizzly, just slower, thinner, and more likely to jam out and listen to Bob Marley. Since we can't distract him by offering him a toke on the field, go around him. The last thing you want is for your unit to be shut down by a dreadlock ginger, right? Defensively, let's mess with Glenn. That dude apparently hates snakes and Ottawa, and since we can't blitz an anaconda, let's give him lots of Ottawa. Also, Mark, if you want to mess with his head, rename the defensive packages and audibles as different kinds of reptiles and get Pruno to call them out when Glenn starts his cadence. Also, remind D-Block that they aren't missiles, they're just supposed to hit like them. Wrap them up, boys. Edmonton Eskimos got way too many yak yards last week. And Bob, what's your unit called again? Special teams, that's right. But this week, let's make them ordinary teams, okay? You know why? Because ordinary teams don't have their third-string QB blocking on punts and don't allow punts to be blocked and returned for touchdowns. The theme of the week for you, Bob, is mediocrity. Sometimes it's good to be the average Joe. So let's have average teams this week, not special ones. I rambled a bit too long again, but it's rare that my wife doesn't shut me up, so you'll have to learn to deal with it. The point is, we ruined Montreal's home opener last year, so let's do it again. Our scouts have confirmed that our nation, led by the Southsiders, is invading the stadium. So if the fans are doing their part off the field, the least we can do is ours on it. This is your head coach here, and I'm out for the week.
See you guys on the other side. Amazing.
Never again will you see rings on your table with the CFL-approved OLG Coaster Yellow Edition. It's easy. Go to your local OLG retailer, place a bet on a parlay with no research, watch your bet lose, and boom!
Coaster!
Bet on the Ticats to beat the Red Blacks?
Coaster!
Bet on the Argos to win the East?
Coaster!
Coaster come in a variety of price ranges from $2 to $100.
After rake and juice, you'll never be a long-term winner, but you will always win a coaster with OLG.
Welcome to the Red Black Renegade Rant with Santino Filoso.
Want to hear a joke?
Yeah!
The Saskatchewan Roughriders. Done chuckling now? Good, because that was a joke, just like the upcoming green-white season will be. That was another joke. Are you still laughing? I hope so, because not only are the green-whites a joke, they're a funny one, and it's okay to laugh at funny jokes. Apparently, though, not all of our nation agrees. Despite being an experienced fan base consisting of fans from 3 different franchises, some members somehow forgot that jokes aren't a bad thing. In fact, in sports, jokes should be encouraged because they fuel rivalries, generate excitement, and become talking points around the game itself. Fan participation is fun and should always be encouraged, especially if nobody's being hurt. I mention all this because frankly, I'm embarrassed by how certain members of our nation are reacting to the participation awards created by the Section O Edmonton Eskimo fan group. Straight up, it was a hilarious troll. Frankly, if we'd won and the rematch had been in Ottawa, I hope that someone would have thought of it. Not only was the joke not in poor taste, it was funny. Red Black players aren't little kids who need to be coddled. They're professional athletes playing football at the highest possible level in Canada. The amount of trash talk they've given and received over the years could probably fill a book. And yet fans in Ottawa think a participation ribbon crossed some sacred line? Hell no. If anything, it was motivation, and good on our boys for harnessing that motivation and channeling it into a win. If a troll by an opposing team's fan group is enough to throw our team off its game, those players should probably find a new career. Because while it might hurt to admit, we did lose a championship to Edmonton. And yes, while we were in the right to ask for compensation for losing Moss to the Eskimos, the entire situation was handled poorly by the league, so why not take the piss out of it? Last time I checked, this wasn't the Canadian Fragile League. The troll or joke or whatever you want to call it wasn't derogatory, and it didn't attack anyone personally. It simply pointed out a fact. The fact that we came up just short in the big game. But really, the fact of the matter is, we should be thanking Section O. Because if I'm Rick Campbell, I'm holding that little ribbon up before every single game this season to remind the Red Blacks what the real goal is. Here's a sincere thank you to Eskimo fans for the extra motivation. Hopefully we'll use it all season long and can return the favor next year.
Okay, I agree with you. I think it was really fun, and obviously it's a little easier to feel that way after a win, you know?
For sure.
But I'm with you. Like in this day and age of like politically correctness, like times a mill, for someone to do something that's actually fun, lighthearted, and not offensive, it's tough. Like,
Exactly, yeah.
like, unless someone like is offended that like people who like love purple ribbons or something that they were defaced. I mean, I don't see how you could be against this. It was cool, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm all for it.
I was triggered, you know. I was straight up right back to grade 6 when I missed that 1500. You know, remember doing that one, and it was just tough. And I just got the participation.
It was the fastest 1450 of your life in those last 50. But
I had heat stroke too. Straight up, it was tough. So honest to Betsy, those guys are funny, and that's for them to pull that off without hurting anybody or pointing it at anything that was derogatory. Good on them. I love it. I'm upset that I didn't think of something like that.
We talk all the time about engaging people, and this is how you do
That's
it.
how you do it,
With
yeah.
cool outside the box ideas, not reusing the same old stuff over and over, not doing the safe thing, not doing
like
the
when
normal
I
thing.
send
Have
it,
some fun.
because I send a case of water to Josh Smith every year, like as a joke. Like I gotta stop doing that, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I know it's part of being funny. It's part of being fun.
It all comes out of a tap in Guelph somewhere anyway, I'm pretty sure.
I really want to like start a big debate here and be on the opposite side and say, no, that was classless and it was tasteless, but I just don't think it was. I think it was funny. And I think had I gotten it, like you're talking to the girl who had to wear an Edmonton Eskimos jersey after the Grey Cup game, get her picture taken, and put it up on Twitter. Did I like doing
It's an
it?
awful
No, but
picture
it
of
was
you,
fun.
by the way.
It is an awful picture.
Probably your
It
worst
is an
picture.
Awful. It's probably my worst picture everywhere. Any green and gold, not my colors. Not my colors.
Is
right,
it
boys?
anybody good in green and gold? Like, let's be honest. When's the last time I was at Holt Renfrew and that was the spring line?
There
Let's
you
be
go.
honest.
There you go. But I have to say, the one thing I have to say is I was shocked at the vitriol that those who thought it was tasteless and those who thought it was funny going at each other on Twitter. I mean, don't we have better things to talk about? It's football season. Can we talk about the game? Do we have to talk about that ribbon? Like that, to me, that was what
Twitter
I found
fingers.
more shocking.
Yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of trigger, you said I just started thinking about purses as soon as you're talking about fashion. Sorry, I thought that ship had sailed. Apparently not. Okay, let's blast into a little how's she going, and then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, let's see you on the other side.
Are you sick and tired of being heckled for selling hot dogs outside TD Place with no permit?
Hey, you got a permit for that, bud?
Or your worries are over with the new 123 hot dog permit kit from 613 Sneaky Sausage. Send us your money, we send you a permit. It's as easy as doing a backflip after a punt. This permit also works for oysters, corn on the cob, stinky tofu, and lemonade stands. Get yours before it's too late. This has been a paid advertisement by the BRB Group. BRB does not endorse or suggest this product, but if you send us $50, we will print you anything you want. So tomorrow, game 2 in Montreal. It's going to be an awesome game. We have a great crowd going. Santino's going.
Yeah.
He is going to. He's got to go to Schwartz's. He asked me where to go for smoked meat.
I should have brought my T-shirt for him.
Yeah, that's right. And if you want to be hardcore, you go for the fat, right? That's the cut you ask for.
Yeah, and if you're in line and if there's a lineup, just bring some Golden Palace egg rolls. Remember the sketch bag that told us?
Yeah, apparently they're crazy about them there, and they'll expedite you right to the front. So I don't know if you maybe want to whip.
And
work.
the servers at
Good to know. Good to know.
which
Yeah.
isn't actually Celine Dion. She doesn't actually work there.
Not yet.
Not yet. No, not yet. I think she does slice the meat and have something to do with their pickling recipe, but that might have been
Her
something
face
I
looks
read.
pickled, man. Like,
Wow.
wow, that's some good work she's had done.
But I went to Vegas for 3 days. I look like that. She's been there for 8 years, man. You know, cut some slack.
It's awful.
So last weekend I went to Montebello with my 4 best buds in the world, and we
I wasn't there.
Yeah, like,
my
dude,
my 4
exclusion.
my 4 best buds. I told you you're in my top 10. I didn't say where. We made that clear. Remember last year I said you're definitely in my top 10 friends. I just don't know where yet.
Like, we take it a Def Leppard for sure. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's right.
oh,
What has 9 arms and sucks? Anyways,
don't say that. Mark's in the room. Sit off the rails.
So
Welcome to-
Montebello was amazing.
Yeah.
Great spending time with you and Mark and our other 2 buds. We never get to do that, and it's really cool. Every year we like get to know each other like a little bit better,
Yeah.
which is like marginally scary, but at the same time, as you unearth what these guys are made of, I really like.
Scary,
like what I
actually.
see. It's terrifying, but like in a good way. It's kind of like Hellraiser 2, you know.
Yeah, and we didn't talk much about football, but saw lots of music. So
But we did get to follow Janine running our Twitter feed, which was pretty much amazing.
I was trying to get there with that because I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, you
Finally,
got-
It was fun. It was fun, guys.
You got some sick gift game. You know?
basically,
Yeah,
I'm getting
she did an
fired.
awesome job.
I
yeah.
just thought, what would Mike Smith do?
Wow, and yeah, I'm gonna be honest, not enough Golden Girls, but we were
I
almost
know.
there.
And you're also not enough of those like smiley, laughy faces with the tears.
Yeah.
That's Mike's calling card. That's the best emoji as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and it's funny because in Japan, that's actually an emoji for getting donkey punched. So, like, it's weird.
Oh, well,
It's weird. Like, we in North America use it like that.
No
Like,
wonder
it's
our
funny.
Japanese Twitter followers all banned.
That's why it's huge. Yeah, this
Or
pod,
exploded.
this podcast is huge in Japan.
I saw your picture on the side of a panty machine. Sorry.
True story. True story. We're huge.
Anyways, this outro is officially
Off the
outroed.
rails. Guys, thank you so much, Santino. Enjoy
Great
Montreal.
being here again.
Janine, enjoy Twitter this weekend.
We are up on iTunes now.
Yeah.
And as always, at BleedRedBlacks on Twitter, BleedRedBlacks on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh yeah, Instagram. I forgot the password. Okay. I think I
The
sold it.
funniest was last week. We're all like, did anyone not clear their history because none of us know the password
Yeah.
to anything anymore?
Damon Allen eating fries was the first
I
year,
know,
right? Remember that?
Yeah, because that's the best story ever. You
Yeah.
told that years ago about
Yeah. So
Mike chirping Damon Allen at the McDonald's on Bronson many moons ago.
sorry, guys.
I love it. I love these callbacks to 2.5 years ago.
Rich will get it. All right, I'm out.
Let's go.